Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out at the range to talk about a new rifle from Sig. Now in my hands, I have the new XM7, and this is a rifle that was adopted by the U.S. military, at least in some numbers. It's not replacing the M4 as I currently record this video, but this is a new service rifle manufactured by Sig for the U.S. military. Well, the U.S. military, specifically Special Operations, came to Sig and said, hey, you have this product out there, and we're really interested in it. You did it for another military group, European one. Hey, can you do this for us? And here are our requirements. And Sig did it. And according to Sig, it's now another rifle in the family tree of these that the U.S. military is presumably using. So we're going to talk about that firearm because they just released it to the civilian market as well. So let's get started. And yeah, I think you're going to like this. I certainly do. A lot of folks ask me, how can I get involved in the firearms business in that particular community? And one of the best ways to do that is to become a gunsmith. Every gunsmith I know is just overbooked with work. It's a very good living. And so if you would like to become a gunsmith, you need to go to a gunsmithing school or become an apprentice for an existing gunsmith. But Modern Gun School is an accredited college that also works with veterans in the GI Bill, where you can go and get a degree from accredited college in gunsmithing and then go out and start your own gunsmithing business, which I think is a really great option. Again, throughout my entire life, gunsmiths have always been able to earn a really good living, assuming they have a really strong work ethic. So please check out Modern Gun School. I do have a link in the video description below. All right, so in front of me, I have a Rattler LT. Okay, so this is a thing. It's already been on the market. I'm sure some of you were thinking that when I did the opening to the video. And here is the new RSAR rifle that the USSOCOM community wanted. So what makes it different from the existing Rattler? Well, there's some minor changes to it, I think, that the U.S. military wanted. So just what I've gleaned from seeing the two firearms side by side, this one has a side folding stock on it. This one has a telescoping or collapsing stock system on it. This rifle, when I first got it, did not have a forward assist, but it's modular, so I ordered one from Sig and I put it on here. It was slab-sided, but the forward assist is present on the RSAR, as I'm calling it, RSAR. So on the RSAR, that it is present here. Moving forward, you're going to notice that the controls and everything like that are the same, including the ambi controls that are present on both sides. It's really about 99.5% the same gun. You will notice some differences in the handguard here, probably some weight savings perhaps. And then, of course, these are Sig sights that are on here that come with it in like a little deployment kit, which I'll show you a little bit later in the video. So you have flip-up sights front and rear that are part of the system. And then they have this C can. So this is one of the Sig cans that are fairly common right now. And it's just a little tiny guy. It's much shorter, as you can see, next to the earlier Rattler. They've shaved a couple of inches off the suppressor. And while the Rattler is in 300 blackout, this is available to the U.S. military in 5.56 and 7.62 by 39. Now, Sig does have the 7.62 by 39, the Spear LT, and we've done videos with that rifle. So it's really interesting, but also it has parts compatibility with other spears out there like this one. So I could theoretically take the 300 blackout out of here. I haven't tried it, so I don't know for 100%, but I see no reason why you wouldn't be able to take 300 blackout barrel out of this and stick it in here. So right now it's, the U.S. military is looking at it 5.56, 7.62 by 39. But if you were to pick one up, 300 blackout barrels, which Sig does sell, should drop right in there as well. Now, it's also worth note that another modification that I did to my original Rattler LT was that I took the little tiny Rattler grip off. It's a very tiny, like super small grip, and I put a full-size Sig grip on it. Picked this up from the Sig website, and you'll notice that not only does this one already have the forward assist on it, but it also doesn't have the Rattler pistol grip, the little tiny one. It has the same style grip on it. It's almost like Sig went out there and built the exact rifle that I modified this one to be, although they changed it to 5.56 and 7.62 by 39. You'll notice over here it has a U.S. government style code on the side of it with a QR code, for racking and stuff like that to keep track of inventory. It's just a really, really cool system. This is all part of a deployment kit, which I, again, will show you here momentarily. So let's load it up and do a little bit of shooting with it. I'll show you what it looks like on the inside, but guys, it looks just like every other MCX or Spear that's currently out there. Yes, the MCX has gone through a bunch of evolutionary changes. The first-gen guns are nothing like the current crop of firearms out there, but they've evolved into what we see here, which I think is a very solid system. So let's take it apart, look inside, and do some shooting with it. All right, so this little guy, as I've already said, is one of my favorites. And I realized that early on, some folks were having problems with barrels and things like that in their spears. I haven't encountered those problems, so I can't really talk about them. But I don't doubt that some folks are having some issues with that. When I spoke with Sig over a year ago, they said that it was a torque issue. But again, I didn't have to pull my barrel and retorque it or anything because I wasn't having a problem with it. But hopefully that's not an issue with the current crop. I certainly haven't seen that with my Rattler LT. It's been actually a great rifle. That thing is so ridiculously accurate. It's almost comical. But anyway, so what's nice about the collapsing stock is it does lock in the collapsed position. So when you grab it, if you're grabbing it out of the bag, it's not going to automatically deploy. You do have to push the button to release it. Now with this particular style of stock, which this is nothing new, guys. They've used this style of stock before with the 9mm version, the 5.56, the Spear, all that stuff. The stock's been around for a while. And it just attaches to a 1913 rail section back here, so the side folding stock could easily be put onto this, okay? But also you need to take into account that when this stock is even a little bit forward, like right here, you will not be able to hinge it open for maintenance because it's interfering with the ability for it to clam open. So you will have to fully extend the stock before you do any type of field maintenance. Now, I also want to point out that the can out here on the end, this little K can, they call it a C can. This is part of the kit. So YouTube moderators, don't freak out. This is all part of the system. This isn't some modification. It comes with this muzzle device on it, but it comes with different muzzle devices in the deployment kit, so you can put a brake on it and things like that. This can is a couple inches shorter than the full size. It was not made specifically for this program. This is a product that Sig had already had. This one is in 7.62 by 39, which makes sense because the gun is intended to be used in 7.62 by 39 or 5.56, I should say. It's a 30 caliber bore diameter on this can, but it's intended to be used with both those cartridges, which is why it's shipped with this particular one. Everything else is pretty common. We've already talked about in previous Rattler videos and Spear videos. It is interesting to point out the sights, very nice sights. When I first saw this rear sight, I'm like, oh wow, they're using CAC sights, but they're not. These are Sig manufactured, Sig branded sights. And you can adjust the elevation and windage on the rear. And then your front, you can zero with elevation adjustments, and it's toolless adjustments. Heavy detents, they keep them extended or folded. There's no release button on them. Out here, we have a 2-position gas regulator. So that's pretty much a carryover to, from earlier versions of the firearm. Full ambi controls. You have a little bolt stop bolt release right there, which is nice. That's part of the newest version or the Spear version of this. And so it's just overall a really, really nicely done gun. Again, I've talked about this ad nauseum. We had Mr. Guns and Gear out here. He brought a Daniel Defense 300 Blackout out, and I had my Sig Rattler, and we're shooting to 300 yards with it, getting great groups. They're just outstanding shooting guns that seem to defy logic, especially with such short barrels. They produce really, really good accuracy, even though the bullet might not be making a full revolution in the barrel before it leaves, especially in something like 7.62 by 39. With the 1 in 7, you're definitely going to get a full revolution in the barrel on this little guy. All right, so let's do a little bit of shooting with it here. Throw some ears on, because even though it has a little can on it, that can, guys, I doubt, we haven't metered it yet. We will when it warms up a bit outside. It's still really cold and windy, but we'll meter it. But I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably not hearing safe. What this is intended to do is to take the edge off the concussion if you're using it inside structures and things like that. Again, this was developed specifically for SOCOM. So being super, super quiet isn't what the goal is here. It's simply to take that concussive blast off a little short-barreled 5.56 or 7.62 by 39. It's extremely smooth shooting. So it is a short stroke gas piston, right? And if you want to learn more about the Rattler or the Spears, just go see some of our other videos. But it's so smooth shooting, and that's really cool. Of course, a lot of that's attributable to the gas system being adjustable, being tuned for this particular can, because it is part of a whole deployment kit. But yeah, it's really, really nicely done. And I like it. Now, I don't know how I feel about short-barreled 5.56s like this, but keep in mind, this is something that the U.S. government wanted. So for whatever reason, they wanted the short barrel like this, because I know a lot of people are going to say that these short barrels on 5.56s are completely useless. I don't know that they're completely useless, but yes, 5.56 depends heavily on velocity for terminal ballistics. But yeah, it seems to be properly gassed and shoots extremely smooth. So I shooting at 50 yards and doing double and triple taps and keeping them on a man-sized IPSC style target down there. So yeah, very, very nice setup for sure. So let's go ahead and take it apart here really quick. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this simply because we've talked about this particular firearm ad nauseum. So first of all, we want to make sure the weapon's empty. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the mag out, and the bolt's locked to the rear so I can check that chamber and everything's clear. Now keep in mind, as I said earlier, you do want to make sure that this is not partially collapsed because it will keep it from opening. And so then we'll just grab a cartridge here, pop the push pin out, and it'll just hinge open once you drop the bolt. All right. Pull the charging handle to the rear. There's your bolt and carrier recoil assembly. And here's your T-handle. The T-handle is not compatible with the AR-15. It uses its own charging handle. And field stripping this, again, we have full videos on this. I'm not going to go into it in any great detail here, but it's kind of AR-15-ish in that you pop the firing pin out. You take your, you have to take your recoil system off, which is very simply done. Take your cam pin out, and then it has an AR-15 style bolt on it. But keep in mind, it is a short stroke gas piston, so there's a little gas piston whacking it right here. There is no internal piston like you would find on a standard AR-15 that's commonly referred to as DI. Inside, standard AR-15 style hammer. So you can swap out different hammers. Keep in mind that the hammer that you would have to put in here would have to be specifically designed to be used in the MCX. We've noted this before. Non-SIG hammers or hammers that aren't designed to be in the MCX can get destroyed by the violent recoil system of the gun, and we've seen that happen back in the old days with the earlier versions of the gun. So I know that SIG was working on that. There's a stop plate down in here, so when the hammer comes down, there's like a little plate that the hammer hits against that keeps it from trigger slapping you, because that bolt carrier velocity is so fast, it's faster than something like an AR-15. It's also noteworthy that you have QD mounts back here. I don't really care for these. They're right here on the receiver. This is what I prefer to use. And we have QD mounts up front on both sides. M-lock rail on the handguard. And again, that adjustable gas system out there. So yeah, very, very nicely done. I am a fan of the controls. The ambi controls are nicely done. I also like the fact that I don't have a big, huge ping pong paddle or something over here. The option to use this ambi bolt stop bolt release is nice, and it's very subdued. It doesn't stick out or otherwise get in the way. So yeah. And then you have the forward assist out there. Some people love them, some people hate them. I don't see any reason not to have one. It doesn't add a whole lot of weight to it. The housing on this is like a high-density polymer. It's not super heavy, so you might as well err on the side of caution and have a forward assist. Kyle Rittenhouse used his forward assist very quickly, and I thought that was really interesting. So some folks out there say they're useless. Not always. Not always. All right. So the RSAR kit comes in this Pelican case. That's a nice Pelican case. And inside, this is the deployment kit, if you will. And presumably this is all the stuff that USSOCOM wanted with their firearms that were being delivered. So we have a sling here, a Magpul Gen 2 MS4. We have 3 Magpul 20-round magazines, 3 Magpul 30-round magazines, a different muzzle device. This is a base unit. This is the muzzle brake. It screws into the end of this, so it's a 2-piece system now. If you're wondering what this is the thing that they stick in the barrel to show it's a flag safety, to show that the weapon's not loaded. Keep in mind, these oftentimes break off like this one did, and this was stuck in the barrel, so always check your barrel before you shoot a rifle for the first time. Hand stop is included. This is the basic cover that I was talking about earlier that replaces the forward assist. So if you don't want this on here, you just take a couple screws out and put this away, put the other one on, and then you don't have a forward assist. And that's what this little piece is. a lock, owner's manual, a certificate of authenticity, and this is the RSAR 999. That's the model. This is number 254 of 500, so it does look like they're done with the production run. If they're sold out online, I'm guessing that's the end of them. And there's your owner's manuals for the can and the rifle. Here is a Magpul MS1 adapter to go with it, and then you have some Pelican information here. So overall, it's a very complete kit, and it's really cool to see the entire deployment kit like this. And it's not uncommon for SIG and other companies to do limited runs like this, but I fully expect to see this firearm being sold in 5.56 if it isn't already. So what makes this unique is the fact that it is an RSAR rifle. It has the military markings, if you will, on the side, and then it has the deployment kit. So if you're just wanting a 5.56 Rattler, I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's just the special edition rifle. All right, guys. Well, I think this is cool. I've already said, and you probably know if you follow the channel, I'm a fan of the Sig Spear. I love it. I think it's one of the most consequential rifles of the 21st century. And so we'll see where this kind of goes. I think we've kind of hit a plateau on what we can do with gunpowder, brass cases, lead bullets, and primers. So I don't anticipate like groundbreaking strides forward in new weapons design. I think this is about as groundbreaking as it gets, where we are currently. So I look forward to the next generation of weapon systems, and hopefully I'll be around to be able to talk about it. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, please ask those questions down below. I try to stick around for the first couple of days after a video goes live to answer any questions you guys may have. Also, right here on YouTube, you got the thanks and support button underneath the video player you're watching right now. You can mash either one of those buttons and help support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization. Swing by, check out our Patreon. There's a link down below. Thank you for 17 years of support. Swing by, check out Copper. We'll talk to you guys soon.